security officials called the bandits to release. When you call somebody that's supposed to be going after their life and call them to release, that's negotiation.
Yeah, because we're actually wondering.
They hide it.
If you are denying,
this is one kinetic approach.
Yeah, but I mean, if you are denying paying monies, what exactly? How are you bringing these people out? Yes, they called, but another thing I'd like us to explore is this.
That's for government to answer.
Yeah, another thing I'd like to explore is this. Now, when you look at this, still from the Vanguard, bandits unleash terror in Kogi, Kano, Sokoto, Kwara. It's happening everywhere. How should the government tackle all of this? Right, we don't have enough policemen to police the country.
I was very indignant.
And our soldiers don't seem to be well motivated.
Sometime last week, I forgot the specific day now, when the president issued that statement declaring security emergency over Nigeria and made certain stated certain objectives of the security emergency, which included, but not restricted to increase in troops numbers and so on and so forth. I was very happy. I was so excited. I picked up my phone and I started calling my colleagues in the media to say, we need to give support to the president for this. Because this is the first time in a long while that he's speaking like a commander-in-chief who is ready to go after the enemies of the state that are mostly domestic. I picked up my phone and called my colleagues. I called my friends in government to say, we commend you for this. The feedback is positive. Follow through with this declaration. Even though I observed that many Nigerians were not impressed, many Nigerians were not enthusiastic, I think at the end of the day, those Nigerians that were not optimistic about it, that we are pessimistic about what I was optimistic about, I think I've been proved right and I've been proved wrong once again. And it's very painful for me as a Nigerian citizen that is trying to support government in everything good and guide them and call them out when necessary to make amends. Apparently, when the president made that statement, he did it without any concrete strategy to back it up. It was just a statement.
So I was going to ask you, what happens differently? Yeah, what happens differently when a country is when the president declares emergency in security? What is supposed to follow?
You would have noticed increased security presence and activities, at least across the flashpoints where we have this crisis. You would have noticed an intensified and, if you like, change of strategic engagement in these areas that would have been yielding results as we speak. Even you sitting down in your studio there, some security measures and guidance would have been communicated to your organization in line with the new security emergency atmosphere. You would have felt that there's something has changed practically about security management across the country, including from your workplace to your home and your recreational areas. You would have noticed an increase, something different in engagement. It is still business as usual. It's about a week now that declaration was made. Nothing has changed. There's been no change in engagement. And as a matter of fact, abductions, killings, kidnappings have continued as though they are not even hearing that there's an emergency. So it tells you that it was declared without a strategy. For instance, long before now, we have given solutions to these problems we are facing today. For banditry, you know why banditry is such a big issue?
Yeah, why?
Even though there are kidnappings across the country and by different ethnic groups. Thank you very much. For banditry, we have told the government time without number that the reason banditry is thriving is because it's a low-risk business that is highly profitable. All it requires is a few AK-47s and a group of bandits that will simply storm the nearest rural community and make away with captives into the forest. And the next thing is to start negotiating to release them. And you give them billions of naira in ransom, and then they go and restock their cache of armaments and continue to expand their operations. And we said, since they're not ideologically driven, they are just criminals. They have no reason for what they're doing other than the money. The blood money has become so sumptuous. And they have become drunk with blood money. So they can't stop. This is like a fix for them. It's now an opium. Now the solution is make this enterprise highly risky and less profitable. How do you do it? Get the communities affected to now become the first line of defense. How do you do it? Bring them together, those that are willing and able to volunteer to safeguard their communities. Bring them together as a community vigilante. But this time the difference is this: incorporate them into a volunteer corps or volunteer unit in the civil defense, where they will be trained armed with the right caliber of arms and ammunition, so that can be able to withstand firepower of the bandits. Incorporate them there for proper supervision and order. But the only difference is that their welfare and armament restocking will be taken care of by the state government.
But
so the body is not on the federal government.
I'd like to interject here to
now,
ask you.
You can draw this.
So if we are doing this for the communities,
please.
Okay, go ahead.
It's important to land on this point for clarity. Because this is a policy proposition. Now, in doing this, you can leverage on ex-servicemen that are domiciled in these communities to form the core of the operational base and command and control of such groups. People that have already been tested and they have been discharged from the various services, they can form the operational core so that it is immune from abuse. Now, these groups should also be made up of all ethnic groups domiciled in the region to prevent from being an ethnic militia. Most importantly, they should be given the right caliber of arms and deployed back to their homes, to their farms, to their cattle ranches, to the highways, just in their community. When there is an attack, these people will respond first before conventional forces come. I've been giving this proposition for the past 3 years. Nobody has listened. Nobody. They said they wanted to create forest guards. Where are the forest guards? We can't see them. With this, once the bandits know that when they come into a community, they will face response, firepower. For the first line of defense, which is not the people, they will come less and less in numbers. Because it is now risky. They go into communities and they lose their lives too. But when they come in and go out, the way you remove hair from pap, with ease, they will keep doing it. Why should they stop? When each time they come, either the communities or the government itself, or under the so-called non-kinetic whatever, will make more money available for them, and they are restocking. They are restocking their stockpile of arms and ammunition to carry out and expand more of these operations. We have given the solution. Now for the Northeast, where we are facing the Boko Haram insurgents, we have said this army, the armed forces of a state like Nigeria, should not be fighting unconventional warfare within its own territory with a group like this for the past 15 years. Now we are likely to stay with this war for the rest of our lives. I know the danger. You are aware that a brigadier general lost his life in the battlefield the other time.
Yes.
That will be the second of such caliber or such cadre of officers that will lose their lives there. You can imagine the number of men that have been lost along that brigadier general. I've cautioned the government that the time will come. Our armed forces will be so decimated in that one theater. That the Boko Haram guys will simply put up a call and say, everybody should surrender or surrender. Now, to stop this, flip the warfare away from non-conventional to conventional, where the army was trained to operate fully. How do you do it? Redraw the Operation Safe Corridor to evacuate people from the theater. If you know you're not Boko Haram, leave those zones and move into a safer zone. And let the army, the Air Force and the Navy carry out at least one full year of aerial, armor, and artillery clearance operation. So that by the time you finish that operation, with the help from our international collaborators like the United States, France, and maybe Russia, by the time you are done saturating the place with enough bombardment, both by land and by air and by sea, you would have so weakened the group that by the time you send in ground troops, it will simply be to clear and occupy. This hide and seek we are doing with these people is to the advantage. The army is not trained to do that. You can't be fighting war in an asymmetrical warfare that is as sophisticated as this. And we are losing men in these numbers. Flip the war now. Carry out. It doesn't matter if you are going to bomb even government assets in the process.
Dr. Majeed Dahiru's network seems to
just evacuate
okay.
To bring this war to an end.
We lost you briefly there, but go ahead. We can hear you now.
So what I'm saying is, flip the war to conventional warfare, carry out extensive aerial, land, armor, and artillery clearance operation for this 1 year. So that you would have been able to bombard this out of existence in that 1 year or degrade them completely. And when you're now moving ground forces, it is also able to clear the hubris, whatever is left of the debris of the ISWAP groups and Boko Haram, and then occupy and make sure that they never rise again. But if you are doing this hide and seek, we are dealing with them, where they lay ambush on us all the time, a time will come that we will lose so many men and officers in the theater in the northeast, that Nigerian army will be so weakened in terms of troop numbers, and Boko Haram will just ride freely to Abuja and occupy Nigeria, and Nigeria will have fallen into the caliphate. This is the reality, and time is of the essence. So again, the northeast, where we have the issue of Boko Haram, flip the tide, convert it to a conventional warfare, and bombard the hell out of these people. Seek help, seek solutions from all over the world to do this, because the world, it is in interest of the global world. Okay, to stop out jihadi terror networks in Nigeria before they become an incubating ground to envelop the entire Sahel or Africa.
It's unfortunate to run out of time because we need to go on a quick break right now. Thank you so much for your time. So much in the papers, but little time to discuss them all. I would have loved to hear your take on the ambassadorial list, but that would be for another day. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Hilary.
.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.